What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing a brand analysis of one of the most iconic and game-changing businesses in the American history, Playboy. We'll be diving into the history, why the brand was so successful, where is the brand now, and what we can learn from it. So if you are interested, keep watching. Welcome back to a new episode of Joe TV. If we haven't met before, welcome. My name is Joseph. I am a digital marketing and branding coach, and I help new coaches, content creators, and entrepreneurs to up-level their brand and business online. In my channel, you're gonna find 2 videos a week, one every Tuesday or Wednesday, where I share social media marketing strategies, and one every Sunday, where you get to know me a little bit better. I will share books, business history, mindset videos, and so much more. This week I got to 1,000 subscribers, which might not sound like a lot for you, but for me it's a huge milestone, as YouTube is a completely new place. So thank you for everyone that joined my community recently, and if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the button subscribe and turn on the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to follow me elsewhere, I am super active on Instagram and TikTok, and you can find the profile right here. This is going to be the first video of a new series called Behind the Business. I personally love business history, and I am super interested to find out how a certain idea really impacted our culture, and so I decided to share this passion with you. Each and every month I will pick a brand and analyze the history, why they've been so successful, what's the strategy behind it, what we can learn from it, and where is the brand now. So if you're excited, smash the like button and let me know on the comments, what do you think about this idea, and if there is any brand in particular that you would like me to dive into. And without further ado, let's dive into today's video. Let's go back in 1926, in the era of Prohibitionism. Hugh Hefner was born in Chicago, and he was raised by a very conservative family. He was not allowed to drink or smoke or watch movie on a Sunday, and not even swearing at all. And as an outcome, he grew up being very introverted kind of child. So he was very much someone that was very popular at school, and as every single young kid, he was really into sex. But being part of a very conservative family, he was not allowed to mention it, talk about it, nowhere near close to home. So when he came to job seeking, he was looking for a place where he could feel really comfortable with himself and be able to share his creativity. And at the time, he was really passionate about magazine, and particularly about one magazine called Esquire. Esquire was really ahead of the time. It was quirky, different. It was talking about lifestyle, but also a little bit talking about sex as well. It will talk about sex with very funny comic jokes, which at the time were super popular. And Hugh Hefner decided to really take the shot and look for a job with them. He found a job with Esquire, and he did really well. He started learning everything about content, what really takes to create something that readers were interested on, and also he learned how to deal with advertisers in the best possible way, something that later in his life will be super useful. Esquire was the place where Hugh Hefner learned everything. But when he came to the point of seeking for a promotion and a pay rise, the manager of Esquire refused to give him a $5 pay rise. So as a result, Hugh Hefner quits. Hef is ready to take that leap, to start something new, to really finally create something that he's seen is missing in the market of gentleman's magazine. At the time, there were so many kind of magazine talking about sex, so many kind of magazine talking about lifestyle, but there wasn't anything that was having the two combined. And this is where Hef did the difference. He wanted to create something that was tasteful, interesting, and that was able to have colorful picture of women, which at the time was something super new. So he goes to his family and he says, well, look, I have an idea. I think I am able to create something amazing and something completely revolutionary, and I would like to come out with my own magazine. His dad was obviously very conservative about it, so he was not really keen on the idea. However, his mother thought there was something in it that was really, really good, and he could really turn this into a huge business. So she decided to lend him $1,000. Now, Hugh feels really excited about this, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna really get people on board with this project. I think this could really take off. So he decided to get on board with another 40 people and collect $8,000, which was the amount of money that Hugh started Playboy with. Playboy was something different, and at the beginning, it was not supposed to be called Playboy. The brand wanted to be called Stag Party, although at the time there was a very famous magazine called Stag Magazine, which really challenged F to get that name on board, which is why a friend of F decided to suggest it, which is why one of F's friends and part of the business decided to suggest Playboy. And although F didn't come out with a name, he came out with a very iconic logo of the bunny. The rabbit was different, quirky, sexy, and having a rabbit on a tuxedo was kind of something classy, if you will, that F could really resonate with, and the logo has never been changed. It was 1953, and in the kitchen table of F apartment in Chicago, the whole team is crafting the first issue of Playboy. There is tons of content, and it's not only, which I think was the key strategy of F at the time, it wasn't only naked women, it was also a very interesting story from a very interesting people. And F really wanted somebody special for the first magazine, and a very famous celebrity was going to be featuring it, Marilyn Monroe. But here's the deal, Marilyn never actually got paid to be featured on F magazine. F was really keen to make this magazine work, and he wanted the first issue to be fantastic and different. So he was looking for a very special person, a very special model for the front cover, and nobody seemed to really work out in the way he wanted to. So he started to look for something different. And at that time, a huge photographer was selling pictures of a very famous American star before she got famous, Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was the very first person to be a playmate. Marilyn Monroe never actually got paid to be part of Hugh Hefner's first issue of Playboy, because Hugh bought the pictures of the photographer that actually shoot Marilyn before she got famous. And this photographer was not a great of a businessman, so he sold the picture for only $200. And after having Marilyn on the first cover of the magazine, great content on board, the first magazine got sold. But here's the deal, F is not sure that this magazine is gonna sell, so he doesn't actually put any date on the publishing. So there's no date on the first issue of Playboy. Well, guess what? The first magazine sold 77,000 copies for 50 pence each. The magazine is a huge success. F is ready to take that leap and grow the team. But what is the success really of Playboy? Well, quite a few points. One of the points that I think was super interesting was the fact that, yes, it was a magazine with naked women, but that wasn't really revolutionary. It was the fact that it was merging culture, lifestyle, and sex in the same place. He was having people like Hemingway writing for the magazine, and really important authors of the time were willing to share their story into the magazine, and have experience in advertising due to Esquire, really helping to get the biggest revenue out of the magazine, which didn't come from sales, but it was coming to really get on board huge advertisers from Esquire to be part of Playboy. So by issue number 4, F's got enough money to open his first headquarters, and is really ready to take the brand to the next level. The magazine is doing really well, and it does $22 million in 8 years. And F is ready to take that leap and take the business to the next level. And this is where I think we can learn from it, because F realized that wasn't the end of it. He was only the beginning, and he was really ready to take a different step into the business. So he decided to become the face of Playboy. It was 1959 when he got divorced, and he realized that the magazine was going to a direction that himself wasn't going. So he decided to become the actual American Playboy. So he will share a lot about his life, and he will share all the women that he will hang out with, because he wanted to become the face of the brand. And this is where you realize when you have a business that you need to take it to the next level and make him become a brand. And F became the face of the brand, and he literally been the face of the brand for the rest of his life. As a venture in business, F realized that it was time to make the dream of the reader come true. So here's what he does. He creates a new place for the readers to go. And this is where he starts to create the Playboy Club. Playboy Club is the place where the readers can really get their fantasy come out and become reality. Everybody was in love with the Playmate, which since issue number 1, where they were called Sweetheart, were super popular. Why do the Playmate were so popular? Well, the Playmate were kind of like the girl next door for F. Is the woman that you can find next door once she finished working and she wants to be naughty. This is the image that the Playmate was for every single American man. And this is the time in America where there is so much revolution around sex. People feel more confident. I think Hugh Hefner did such a big, contribute to this. He made sex really general topic of speaking. So everybody was feeling confident about it. Think about it, in the 1950s, nobody would ever think about sex. Everybody would think about sex, but nobody will talk about it. So Hugh Hefner kind of made this accessible and different. It's 1960 when the very first Playboy Club opened in Chicago. It's the place where every single reader sees the fantasy of a playmate become reality. The Playboy Bunny are there to entertain you, to either serve you a drink or serve you dinner. And the Playboy Club is a place with 6 floors where you can literally enjoy a show, you can have your gourmet dinner, or you can just have a drink and really empathize with the Playboy Bunnies. But here's the deal, being a Playboy Bunny is a huge work for these women that really want to be, associated to really high society in America. Become a Playboy Bunny takes a week of training for a woman, a certain dress code that includes obviously the very famous costume that everybody knows, and it becomes such a huge part of pop culture. And there is a very famous thing called the bunny dip, which I found a picture of it, which I will show you right here. And the bunny dip is a certain way of serving drinks as a Playboy Bunny. 1960 is a huge year for Playboy. The Playboy Club is going really well. Everybody is dreaming about the Playboy Bunnies, but the biggest chunk of revenue comes actually from advertising, magazine, and in general, the magazine gets the highest point of revenue it's ever been, $127 million. What does it mean to you? That Hugh is ready to take the brand to the next level. The brand is going strong and is growing really quickly. It's not only a magazine for naked women, but it's also the place where loads of celebrity and huge political people want to be featured on. People like Martin Luther King or Hemingway or the Beatles, for instance, a few years later. Everybody wanted to have a piece of Playboy. In 1969, Hugh Hefner decided to take the brand to the next level again and to really reinvent something that never happened before. Take himself into TV. 1969 is the time where Hugh Hefner started the first reality show, one of the 2 reality shows that he ever did, but we're gonna dive into this later. And the reality was called Playboy After Dark. Playboy After Dark will be kind of a little sneak peek of Hugh Hefner's life, what it's about, What can you expect? And he will interview so many people in the entertainment world. This will increase the brand awareness of Playboy, as well as doing something which historically was a huge step forward. And it was, for the very first time, merging black people and white people in the same place. Hugh Hefner was one of the first person to host people like Martin Luther King or Ella Fitzgerald into a white TV show. 1971 is the year of the magazine. Why? Because it registered the highest number of readers ever, 7.2 million readers of Playboy. And in 1971, Hugh Hefner decided to move his crew to LA and buy one of the most famous mansions in history, the Playboy Mansion. He buys this house for $1.2 million, and he decided to make the dream of the bachelor that he was really famous for into Beverly Hills. The golden years of Playboy are amazing until the beginning of the 80s. Why? The political scene in America was changing, and Playboy was seen kind of like a pornographic place. And in terms of pornographic place, the video porn was getting introduced. So obviously readers were shifting from reading about it to see it. And this was a huge problem for Playboy, as well as having other magazines such Maxim or Penthouse really challenging and becoming competitive into the platform for the magazine. 1982 is the year where Christy Hefner, which is F daughter, becomes the chief executive officer of Playboy. She becomes the CEO of Playboy, and she will be until 2006. She was the person in charge of making a huge change for Playboy. By 1986, due to the change of direction politically and, socially, all the Playboy clubs were closed, except for 3. People were not going to the Playboy clubs anymore because they were getting associated as being disgusting, disrespectful towards women, and also not the place to be seen, as they were not seen as classy anymore. So, Playboy was going through some huge changes, and we go straight to the 90s where Playboy made a huge mistake, which was not being fast enough to be going online. And this is where I think we can learn from it. This is where you realize that you have, yes, an established brand, yes, an established business, but you really need to always think forward as an entrepreneur. So at the time, Christy Hefner decided to shift the direction of Playboy. So the magazine became not only the place for naked women, but a place where people could consume lighter content and also seen a political scene of it. Many activists, many people that were huge in politics went to get featured in Playboy, and the shift started when he started to actually have celebrities on the cover of the magazine as well. So there was a big shift, and in 1997 Playboy started to become an online magazine as well, and perhaps a little bit too late for Playboy maybe, because Maxim and Penthouse were way far ahead on the game when it came to this. Early 2000 was the year of the reality show, and Hugh Hefner seen a massive opportunity on that. He realized that through television was the place where he could attract a younger audience and really kind of get the brand back to the point where he wanted to be. So he decided to sign a deal with E! Entertainment and have a reality show called Girls Next Door. The reality was about him, his life in the Playboy Mansion, and the life of his 3 girlfriends at the time, Holly Madison, Bridget Market, and Kendra Wilkinson. So the reality show was interesting. The American audience was really keen on it. They loved Hugh Hefner as a person, and the reality was really successful. And obviously he launched off the career of so many women in there. So that was the way for Hugh Hefner to start to get the magazine back to the point where it used to be. But here's the deal. Christy Hefner behind the scene was really clever. She kind of managed to get the brand at the beginning of 2000, just before the reality show, and turn it into a lifestyle brand. This is why now the legacy of Playboy and the logo of Playboy is a $1 billion brand, because, you know, they turned the logo into a lifestyle brand. Now is one of the most recognized logos that you can see. The reality show was really popular, and you know, it was the time where reality show was the place to go. It was just before the Kardashian, and you know, kind of the place where everybody wanted to be, and a great place for them to do brand awareness. If we go to today, what happened to Playboy? So Playboy is still existing, and the magazine is definitely not produced anymore due to coronavirus. This is a recent news. Playboy magazine officially stopped being produced, and it's only an online subscription. And the magazine is still working online a little bit, but you know, it's not the brand that it used to be anymore. And lots of people fall in love with Hugh Hefner because, you know, whether you love him or not, it was a character that so many people really resonated with, especially in the old American history. And you know, I remember about the Playboy Mansion because it was such a fun reality show that I used to watch the Playboy Mansion in Italy because I was starting to watch American TV because I was learning English at the time. So it was really fun to watch, and obviously really trash, I have to say, but you know, quite entertaining in a way. Not the kind of program I would watch now, but at the time it was quite entertaining. What is really interesting is the shift that the magazine had ever since Hugh Hefner passed away a few years ago. The magazine now is completely run by women, which is fascinating to me, as it goes the opposite direction of what Hugh Hefner ever did. And you know, it's really interesting how it became the place for activism. So they kept the political side of the magazine. Yes, there is still some people that want to be playmate in there, and the magazine kind of lost the appeal that it used to have. And due to COVID-19, the magazine is not actually produced anymore at all. They used to do the magazine every quarter, and then they did it twice a year, and since 2020 is not actually released anymore, it's only online. And you know, what can we learn from it? I think Playboy is a huge example of how you can turn your business into a lifestyle brand, how showing up is really important, and how you can really, you know, take the brand to the next level if you get people to fall in love with you as a person. And this is where the trust building process starts, and this is where Hugh Hefner made a huge impact. I think the main reason why Playboy is not the brand that it used to be is because Hugh Hefner passed away. Cooper Hefner is the son of Hugh Hefner, and he was running the company for quite some time until 2014, where he resigned and he wanted to open a social media company. But actually, at the beginning of 2019, he decided to join the army. So everyone is doing a completely different you know, direction. Hugh Hefner, before he passed away, got married to Crystal Harris, which was part of the Playboy Mansion reality show, and become the only person he ever married after the long time marriage with you know, Barbie, which was a very famous playmate at the time as well. Why did I decide to talk about Playboy as a first brand analysis on Behind Business series? Is because Playboy is one of those examples of how much a business can switch and turn and change and adjust to the time and the history and the society. You know, think about where he started and where he's going right now. I mean, he started as a men magazine mainly, and now he's becoming a women place for activism and empowerment, which is mind-blowing. And you know, it was really interesting. There is a very good series which I really advise you guys to check out on Amazon Prime, which, by the way, you have an affiliate link with me, so you can get a free month if you don't have it. And it's called The American Playboy. It's the only series licensed by Playboy Enterprise. My opinion about Hugh Hefner, it's kind of like, I've always been intrigued by this man, but I don't really stand for the value that he was sharing. And I never actually quite understood how much of a realness there was in this kind of 7 girlfriend style, or how much of the real F we ever seen. I think there was much of a brand image that he wanted to maintain. And I find the whole direction that the brand took really fascinating. I will leave you the American Playboy series just down below, and a couple of books in the info box about the Playboy Mansion that you have to check out. We got to the end of the video. This is now where I want to hear from you. I really want to read on the comments, what do you think about Playboy Empire? What do you think about F? What's your biggest takeaway on this video? What do you think is the most interesting part of the story of Hugh Hefner? And yeah, so let's start the conversation over on comments. And you guys know I love to engage with you on comments, so make sure you let me know what's your biggest takeaway of the video. Don't forget to subscribe on the channel if you like this video, and I will see you same time, same place in the next video.